Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the What Have You Been Up To podcast. My name is Isaac. I'm joined, of course, by my wonderful co-host, Nick. And as per usual, Nick, the initial question that I have to ask in a very straightforward manner today. No frills, no accoutrements, just the straight up, Nick, what have you been up to, man?
First of all, accoutrements was not as straightforward as I was expecting, Isaac. When you said straightforward, I don't know how to feel right now. I've been ill over the last few days, so my life has been exceptionally boring.
As have I, man. I have also been ill this last week. It's not fun, yeah.
You have. We've both been kind of like, yeah. So we've just been kind of recovering and coughing. I'm currently drinking a 2-day-old Diet Coke from McDonald's, Isaac.
2
I went
days
to McDonald's.
old.
Yeah, 2 days.
Wait, hold on. It's Tuesday today for the reference. You bought this on Sunday?
Bought this on Sunday.
And you're drinking it
10
today?
PM.
Has it been in the fridge?
It's been in the fridge the whole time.
Okay, like since purchase.
Okay. Since purchase. I bought it. Right, here's the thought process.
I would have still decanted it. I don't like the plastic, like the paper plastic thing that those are in. Like it just
I did think that a little bit.
It seeps and it gets all. It's horrible.
Let's get those carcinogens in, Isaac. You know, it's part of the nutrition.
Oh, that's horrible.
I went at 11 p.m. I got a meal, right, and they were like, "What drink do you want?" I didn't want to say a bottle of water because that's too boring. So I said, I'll have a Diet Coke, please. With the idea that I would put it straight in the fridge. Because I didn't want to have the caffeine, right, at 10 p.m. And I would have it yesterday, right? I was like, okay, I'll put it in the fridge. I'll have it tomorrow. I just didn't come around to drinking it yesterday. So I was like, oh, well, I'm doing a session tomorrow. I'll just save it till then. So here it is. It's not as flat as I thought it would be. But it's quite nice.
That's horrendous. I think I speak for myself and the McDonald's Corporation when I say that we do not recommend the storage of their products for over 24 hours.
Oh yeah, look at that. Oh yeah, a bit of paper in that liquid. So yeah,
I'm not surprised, man.
So all came from trees. I ate far too much food from there, and I haven't had a McDonald's in quite a long time, and I just ate it and then just got
What did you get, man? What was your order?
I'll give my order. I had. They're doing some like special beef burger at the moment. It's like a Philly cheese stack. Yeah, that one. So I got that medium meal with the Diet Coke in question that I have here. I then got a jalapeno cheese bites share box, expecting to share them with my girlfriend who I was with. She ate like one.
And you ate the other 11.
All of the others.
That's good.
And then I had 6 chicken nuggets.
Wait, so you said you got a meal, like a Philly cheese stack meal?
You're correct.
So you got a burger and fries and drink. You had 11 cheese bites. And then on top of that, you also ordered chicken nuggets?
So yes, that is what happened.
See, we've been over this before, man, and like about your McDonald's orders.
I tend to do this, yes.
I think the Philly cheese stack is probably like a 700 or 800 calorie burger in and of itself. Then you've got the fries, which are at least 400. So we're talking like close to 1,200. Then add on top of that 11 cheese bites, which I think is potentially another 1,000 in and of themselves because it's a share box.
Oh, and yeah, at least.
And then the chicken nuggets, I think it's probably like 6 chicken nuggets is like 250 calories. It's not a ton. But this is like a 2,600 calorie meal, Nick.
So you won't be surprised to hear that I had just like the most craziest feverish dreams of my life.
Just collapsed into a hibernating coma when you got home.
Yesterday, the day after, I got a spot there, which you can see.
Someone in the Twitch chat says, at least you made the sensible decision to avoid the caffeine.
Oh, of course, yeah. Like at least I was able to sleep in my food coma, right?
Oh.
My skin broke out. I was in a very odd headspace yesterday, and I was trying to analyze it in the evening. I was like, why do I feel so odd out of it and tense today, and I was like, it's probably because of the like kilo of fat and salt that I ate last night.
Like, I understand the meal and sharing the cheese bites, right? That makes sense to me. It's McDonald's fault for selling such a high calorie main meal, right?
Correct.
And then like the fact that your girlfriend didn't share the share box, understandable. My confusion comes from the added chicken nuggets. I think we talked before about like, and I understand fully the idea of like not ordering a meal, especially given that you didn't want the drink. I would have assumed you'd order the burger and the nuggets instead of the fries, because 6 nuggets is actually less calories than a portion of like large medium fries. So I would have thought you'd have gone non-meal, just burger and nuggets, because you're not a huge fan of the fries. But going for a meal with a side of bites and then a secondary side of nuggets is an interesting choice. I'm interested in your reasoning behind that.
So I think when we talked about this last, I did used to actually talk about me doing that, in that I would never usually order a meal. I'd get individual items, and I would get, then chicken nuggets and stuff.
And I've started doing that since then.
Chips. Yeah, it's good. I think it's good. I do like it because, you kind of save on the carbs a little bit. I know, obviously, the baseline is you're eating fast food, so it's not like, you're making a healthy life decision by foregoing the chips. But I just wanted some chips. I don't know what it was. I was just thinking some chips. I think it was mostly because it was 10 p.m. and I hadn't had dinner.
Right.
And so I think it was just the stomach. The stomach made the order, not the brain. Right.
Right.
And then I overordered, and then I ate, and then I proceeded to feel like Humpty Dumpty, who just fell off the wall and had a great fall. Right. But yes, that was my thought process. I did regret it.
Yeah.
I didn't regret it while I was eating it. I regretted it the next day. I made sure that I skipped breakfast yesterday morning, and then I had a very, very small portion of pasta for lunch and dinner. So I tried to make up for it a little bit.
Yeah, I always just I've taken on this this idea. This is from years ago. I think you might have talked about this like maybe closer to 10 years ago now, and then recently,
probably.
But I've taken on this wholeheartedly. This idea of kind of just avoiding the fries, because like they're not bad. But like also here in the UK, they're not. I feel like McDonald's fries are so inconsistent. Half the time they're cold, half the time they're not salted. They're never. I like 1 in 10 times I go, do I ever get like hot and salted fries, right? Which is madness. And also just like there's so many calories for just potatoes. It's just carbs, and like they taste okay, but like, and that's not including any kind of dip. And so I'm with you, man. I'll just kind of get like a different, like an extra side of something, or like some chicken nuggets. I won't go with the fries, man.
You've never been a fan of fries generally, have you? Like, you're not the biggest fan, right?
No, I would never choose them, right? I don't make like chips at home very often, or fries at home, right? And then the same's true when I'm out. Like, I'll eat them if they come with a meal or something. Usually I won't finish them. They're the second, they're the filler, right? You eat what you're there to eat, and then if you want to eat a bit more, you can then continue with the fries. But again, I'm not a huge fry guy, man.
Yeah, no, I understand. I understand where you're coming from. And I will say, man, the fries on Sunday, disappointing.
They're always, I don't know what they're doing. I think they're just like leaving them to stand for too long. Like they're making too big of a batch and not selling them fast enough. But like these last few years, they're so floppy. Yeah. And I feel like what they do is they make a giant batch. They salt the top of the batch, right, with the little shaker. And then like, if you're one of the first like 4 people to order fries after they make a batch, you get nice fries. If you're one of the next 50 people who order fries, you get unsalted, soggy, kind of lukewarm fries that are just not very good, and are still just as bad for you. So
yeah.
I'm not bad at it.
Just with a bit less salt. I find that Nando's is quite inconsistent as well, man. When you get their peri salted fries,
it's another place where I'm never ordering fries, man.
Some of them will just dump the peri salt on top, right? And I'm just like, yo, just give it I know why. It's because they make one batch of fries, and then if someone orders peri fries, they charge them about, £1 or £2 more, right? And then just sprinkle it on like Salt Bae. But the people who do it very well are Five Guys, right? I see them. I've seen them. If someone orders the Cajun fries, they will take this big metal Cajun powder shaker, shake it into one of the fry baskets that they've dedicated to Cajun fries, and then they'll like ba-chung, 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 give them a good old shake, and you get like a nice even coating.
To be fair, a medium fries at McDonald's is like $1.49. A medium fries at Five Guys is like $5.50. So
That
there's a
is
slight, they're like quadruple the price.
In saying that, sometimes it's quadrupled the bloody portion size as well.
That's true. That's true. I think a medium fries at Five Guys is over 1,000 calories. It's actual madness.
Yeah. Even when I'm sharing with someone, I tend to play roulette and get the small one, because usually they will give you enough for two people, even if you get the small one, right? But yes, you are right. They are more expensive, but they are definitely better than the McDonald's fries. So yeah, that's been my diet. My diet's gone out the window the last weekend, because I will say the day before I had this McDonald's, so on Saturday, I actually did have a Five Guys, which is why I had a direct comparison. also why I've got this spot, right? My skin hates me.
Speaking of fast food though, man, I tried something new yesterday, Nick. The small independent chain known as Kentucky Fried Chicken here in the UK. They have a new I know the owners. They have a new Christmas menu, man. Which includes I say Christmas menu. They have a new Christmas item, right? That fulfills their Christmas menu. And it's called like the Christmas Stack, maybe, or something like that. Basically it's like their standard chicken fillet burger. So like a chicken fillet. But it's got, and you know how in the UK, I don't know if it's the same everywhere, but you can get, you can quote tower up at KFC and they'll put a hash brown and cheese on your chicken burger.
Yeah.
It's basically the same as that. You get the cheese slice, but instead of a hash brown, they've got like the sage and onion stuffing pate that they put on top of it. And then it also has what they call spicy cranberry sauce that goes on top of that as well. It's actually pretty good, man. I quite liked it. Yeah, if you Google KFC and go on their website, I'm sure it's the stuffing tower and the stuffing stacker are the,
I see
the two new burgers.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Like, the quote unquote spicy cranberry sauce is not spicy in the slightest.
Of course it isn't.
But it is pretty tasty, man.
That really is a stuffing patty, isn't it?
It is. It's legitimately a patty of stuffing. It's pretty tasty though. It affects the flavor of the burger entirely. Obviously, you can smell it and you can taste it. Yeah. It's very festive, super festive, like a turkey sandwich or something, but just like crispier because it's got fried chicken in it. It's nice.
Yeah, no, that's good. How do you feel about stuffing, man? As part in the Christmas dinner array, right? Where do you rank stuffing?
So, I think that good stuffing is good. However, growing up, we never had good stuffing. My mum would buy like the cheapest like instant stuffing that came in like a bag, and like she added water to it and put it in like a tray. And like it was bad. It was not good, right? So growing up, I was like, I don't really like stuffing. Since I've become an adult myself and I've been able to make good stuffing personally, I like it, right? I don't need a ton of it because it's kind of filler, right? But yeah, like it's good. I like it. What about you, man? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I'm quite similar. I mean, I didn't have stuffing at all growing up, to be honest.
Again, this was for me like just at like very rare occasions.
Yeah, no, fair. So I was going to say, the only time where I did have stuffing was at school, right? During Christmas when they do your one school Christmas dinner. And naturally, the stuffing that they gave you was terrible, right? Probably the same stuff that your mum was getting, right? Like the cheapest, like, en masse tray, put hot water in, powder turns into stuffing, kaboom, stuffing, right? So I was never a big fan. I think last year I did. I don't want to say I made it. I want to say that, but I think I was given, because I ordered a food delivery box. I was given quite high quality stuffing, which was good.
Like maybe like a pork and cranberry or something like.
Something along those lines, and it was very good. But you are right, it's just filler. I'd rank it below. I've got the top 50 percentile, right, of what's good in a Christmas dinner, and stuffing would probably be in the lower 50 percentile, right?
Oh, yeah. I guess it depends on how much stuff you've got on the table, right, as to where it falls. I think it's probably close to the middle for me. Maybe. There's obviously a lot of stuff that's better, but I think it really does depend on how much stuff is on the table, right? If there's fewer items on the table, the stuffing's obviously going to be lower. If there's like a large number of less important items, it could squeak its way into the top half, I think. But it's close.
There does tend to be some rogue things. There's, again, with this food delivery box I got last year, it took me like 2 days to make everything. But I was like gratin, which I'd never had before. A gratin, and that was just salt and fat. And made me feel a bit sick.
that's all everything at Christmas dinner is, man.
That is
whatever
true.
ingredient you have, drown it in salt and fat and then put it on the table. Right. That's all you gotta do.
What else? There was the Brussels sprouts, which I think they're fine.
Yeah,
I think they've been getting. Have they been getting better? I want to say that the world has been warming to Brussels sprouts, but then I
think the world has been warming to Brussels sprouts. I remember watching a thing about how they used to be a lot worse, but I also just think it's an age thing as well. I think as you get older, you kind of, begin to dislike. I think your body kind of realizes slowly but surely, we need these nutrients, and you feel better about, sprouts and broccoli and cabbage and whatever else it is that, children don't like.
No, that's fair. That's fair. But I would definitely rate the vegetables in a Christmas dinner. So like carrots and parsnips and roast potatoes and stuff above stuffing, for sure. But yeah, I've decided as well that I'm not ordering a food delivery box for Christmas.
You don't need to, man.
I'm going to M&S.
Exactly.
I'm getting some pre-done stuff, and I'm banging it in the oven, right?
So I ordered the food delivery, like the Christmas dinner in a box kind of thing, and HelloFresh and others. If you're watching this, skip this part so you can sponsor us in the future. But I use those, but then you very quickly realize that like you can buy everything that's in those boxes for like a third of the price, and it's like it's not even close, right? You obviously have to buy more of certain things, right? Like they're going to send you 3 carrots or whatever, and you have to go buy a kilo of carrots at the supermarket, etc. But like, it's unnecessarily expensive. They mostly just send you like a turkey, potatoes, sprouts, like a cabbage maybe, carrots, maybe some parsnips. You know what I mean? It's the veg, especially at Christmas, is so cheap in the UK. For whatever reason, the supermarkets go crazy. Like I guess everyone's just preparing for it. But carrots, potatoes, parsnips, you can get like a kilogram of them for like 19 pence in UK supermarkets around Christmas time. And the price differential that you pay by going with like a HelloFresh is just madness, man. So yeah, just go to the supermarket and buy it if you're going to make a Christmas dinner.
The other thing is as well is that they will give you HelloFresh, e.g., would give you like an entire red cabbage, let's say.
Yeah,
and that would make like
too much
enough, like pickled red cabbage to feed a flipping entire congregation of people, right?
First things first.
So in some cases, right,
I love red cabbage. That like
good stuff.
Like the spiced red cabbage is so good. But like on top of that, I agree with you. Obviously, it's one of those things where they can't be seen as being stingy and sending you like a quarter red cabbage, right?
Yeah.
Like it just looks. Again, a red cabbage is like 49 pence at the supermarket for an entire red cabbage, like a pretty big one. And so, like, I don't think they're they're probably just, they don't want to seem too stingy. They already send you like a little sachet of milk. They don't send you a little carton, they send you like a little bag of it or whatever. It's like, okay, guys,
Come on then.
I paid like £200 for this. Come on now.
Right. There's a comment in the Twitch chat, because this is being streamed live, people watching back or listening back, saying what would the UK's version of Thanksgiving be? That is Christmas lunch, I would say. Like that would be our equivalent of the Thanksgiving dinner, right?
Yeah, we don't want to do anything in November for Thanksgiving. Yeah, I think Christmas is really kind of the only big dinner. Like sometimes Easter, maybe, but like I feel like that's less common to have like an Easter dinner. But I think so mostly it's just Christmas in the UK is like the only time people get together to eat food like regularly, right?
Exactly, yeah. and then everyone starts fighting and then hates each other, because isn't breakup season like the highest just after Christmas? Because people have to deal with family members, like the opposite side's family members.
I wonder if
and everyone's stuck inside.
So I can see this. I would be interested in how much the family member thing plays into it. I could see the being stuck inside playing into it. I think mostly it's just that like when the new year rolls around, people contemplate where they are in life more, right? They're they think back and they're like, what am I doing with my life? Do I want to they think ahead. You know what I mean? And New Year rolls around, you're like, what did I do last year? What's changed? What am I going to do this year? And if you're with somebody that you don't want to be with, right? Like, and you know it deep down.
New Year's resolution.
Your New Year rolls around, you're like, where do I want to be this time next year? And they think about it and they're like, I don't want to be with this person. And then so they probably just break up. And like, they want like that fresh start that January, you know, brings, right? People invent themselves, right? They're going to go to the gym, they're going to eat better, they're going to find a better partner, they're going to do all these things, they're going to have an amazing year, and then by February, they're back on the couch eating chicken nuggets with the stacker burger and the fries and the chili cheese bites and the Diet Coke having a five.
I just do it in November, man. I might as well do it now. I'm not even going to wait until January, right?
Someone in the Twitch chat also says there's allegedly a thing of deferring a breakup to avoid being alone for the holidays, which will also make a tremendous amount of sense.
Right, I see. Wow.
I could see not wanting to be alone over Christmas.
Yeah, that'd be fairly tragic. Yeah, that's the one thing I'm not looking forward to, man. The gym being busy in January.
You're telling me, man. Oh, right? So right now it's the quietest time of the year. Like, yeah, it's great.
It's beautiful.
Oh, it's going to be horrible.
And it's friggin' empty. And I'm like, this is unreal. It's going to be so busy.
It's going to be terrible come January. I'm not looking forward to it either, man. People who don't know what they're doing, and it's just like they're taking up all the car parking and
look forward to February, Isaac. Look forward to February. That's when everyone will have given up.
Well, that's why I signed up to my gym in February last year. Actually, is when I first started going. So I've been since February. I've actually not experienced the January rush.
You've played the strategic game there. That's very good. That's very good. Oh man. So I've done a thing, Isaac. So I can't remember if it was the last WHYBUT or the WHYBUT before.
Oh, is this you tried a Loofer?
Here it is. Boom!
Hey.
So I did my homework and I got a Loofer last night. Actually, I was like, I'm gonna search for one in the supermarket. So I searched for one, found one. And I was like, okay, this looks quite sweet. The best way I can describe these things is it looks like a girl's like hair scrunchie. But then loads of them, about 50 of them glued together.
Yes.
Right. This one is still a bit wet, so I'll move it carefully into place.
You showered this morning? Is that what's happened there, or?
Yeah, I showered this morning. Yes, correct.
Okay.
So I used it. I didn't really know what to expect. I was a bit worried at first because I've got very kind of dry and sensitive skin, right? So I was like, is this thing going to over exfoliate me? Like, is all my skin going to feel a bit kind of sore after this? Thankfully, no, it was all good. You are right, man. This thing makes shower gel unlimited.
I'm telling you, man, it's a life hack.
you set a expectation, right? I was expecting to do usually how many pumps do I do usually of my shower gel? Because it's a little like a pump action one. I'd probably do 7 or
pumps?
8. That's 7
crazy.
or 8 pumps. Like they wouldn't be full pumps, all the way down, right? But like little like you know thumb pumps where you just like
yeah, okay.
This was one full pump. So I gave it a pump and I was looking at it, right? I was like, how do I have to try and rub this in? Do I have to mix this? Like, how does this work? There's just shower gel sitting on top of this loofah here. And I was like, all right, here we go. So I started rubbing it on myself.
I usually do a bit of a pre-mix. Like I kind of rub it in my hands a little bit. You know,
okay.
Maneuver it like this, you know, a little bit, maybe.
Like a bit of a dough ball kind of situation,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
I see. And it started lathering. I was like, oh, it's doing it. I don't know why I was expecting it not to do it, but it was lathering. and then I was like, okay, this is my top half done. And then I was doing my middle half, and it was still lathering.
Wait. You got 3 halves?
I got 3. I got
top
3
half,
halves.
middle half, bottom half.
I still got 3 halves. So I did my middle half.
Right,
and I was like, this thing is still lathering. And then I did my lower half, also known as my legs. And I was like, I feel like this is lathering more.
It's
right?
crazy, man. Like
there's more coming out.
There's like a trillion little holes in that loofah that just like, you know, the soap just multiplies, man.
And then I did my feet, still lathering. I did my back, still lathering. I did my whole ass body. in one pump.
I'm telling you, man.
I couldn't believe it.
That's why I was shocked when you said 7. You must have been tanking through that stuff, man.
I do go through shower gel quite quickly. Hopefully not anymore. I mean, the payback thing on this is like instant.
That's
right?
what I'm saying. How much you pay for it? They're not expensive at all. Right?
I can't remember. It wasn't more than £2.50.
Exactly. Right.
I would have got it cheaper online, but I needed it at the time, right? So and my shower gel is, because they're quite big, I think my shower gel is like £3, something like that. Mm-hmm. And if I'm using, a 7, let's say I use 2 pumps, right? So at least 3 times less.
Yeah.
Shower gel, it instantly pays it off in the first shower gel bottle I go through. So
100%.
Yeah, no, it's very good. The only thing was when I was done with rubbing it on myself, I kind of tried to wash it with my shower head, right? And obviously, probably by design, there was still quite a lot of soap, like in the depths of this thing. And I was kind of like trying to squeeze it out like a sponge, and then trying to kind of get it all out. I assume that's not absolutely essential because, soap is clean, I guess. Mm-hmm. But that was the only thing. The other thing is that my bathroom is quite a humid environment, so this thing hasn't dried as effectively as I would have wanted it to. But then I'm waiting for the Black Friday sales, which obviously don't start on Black Friday. They start this Friday. Some places have started them already. And Project Dehumidifier will be underway there. So hopefully that will help that situation. Nice. and improve the drying time of this thing, because I noticed that all my towels take forever to dry in my bathroom as well. Yeah. But no, I've obviously only used this once. I'm going to continue to use it, and
get a long-term update.
Yeah, well, I'll do a long-term update in a few weeks, maybe when it goes bad, if it ever does go bad. Like, I don't know what the.
So I've just replaced mine. I just placed a new one, but it lasts quite a while, man. It's not like you have to buy one every month or anything like that. It's, that's pretty long time. I figured this one's got a nice little hook strap as well, so I can hang it somewhere. Mm-hmm. So probably I have mine just help hung, it. My shower pole itself has got a little thing on it that I just can hang it on. So mine's just right under the shower.
Yeah. But good stuff, man. Honestly, man, every time I've been to people's houses and I see these things, these loofers, I've always thought they're just shower like hair ties or shower caps or something. I think my family have them, so I'm quite surprised that I've
growing up, they were always there in the family shower, and it's like, I wonder why everybody else but me has a shower cap.
I know, right? I was like, I want to wash my hair. Does nobody else? Am I the only person? So no, it is very good. It's very good. Loofer is go, Isaac. Loofer is go. I'm very impressed indeed.
Yeah. Oh, good stuff, man. Yeah, no, I'm glad. I'm glad we managed to convert you to the Loofer, to the side of loofers, man.
I do like making my home and lifestyle more efficient, right?
Yeah.
So if I can save on shower gel, perfect. So I've done the air fryer. I'm going to do the dehumidifier.
I've not taken the leap on the air fryer, man. I've not taken that jump.
It's a good jump, I will say. Isaac, it's a good jump.
I don't use my oven that often, man, is the thing. Like, I find I do so much, like, stovetop cooking that, like, I really don't use my oven that often. And, like, I don't know if I'm going to warrant the usage of it. I also don't, people go crazy about it, but I also don't preheat my oven at all, right? And, like, it's fine. Like, occasionally I'll put something in the oven, like maybe I'll have some fish fingers, like, once in a blue moon, and it'll say, hey, put them in for, like, 12 to 15 minutes, and I'll just put them in the oven, turn it to the temperature it says, and give them 15 minutes, and they're fine. They're great. And so I don't know, man. I've yet to be sold, despite the bombardment of endorsements for air fryers. I've yet to be sold on the air frying experience, man.
The question to ask then is, because I use my air fryer in place of the frying pan, but I use it in place of frying items on the frying pan, right?
Yeah.
So if I buy some chicken that I would pan fry, I use the air fryer. So the question is, do you do a lot of pan frying?
I do, but I am
okay.
I've not tried it. I can't speak to this, but I am almost 1,000,000,000% certain that air fried chicken is going to taste way worse than pan fried chicken. If you're not using any oil in your air fryer, if you're just like, because at that point it's the same as just putting like a chicken. Good. At that point, it's the same as just putting like a chicken breast in the oven, right? There's no.
So it is. This is why I use it, right? It's like the oven replacement, right? Yeah. But it's quicker. This is the main thing. It's quicker and cheaper to run. So this is why the air fryer fever is a thing. It is basically just like a fast oven, right?
Yeah, but like my point is,
it's like the oven they've got in Costa, right? They put your toasty in and it just blasts. I'm familiar with the concept, high heaven.
But like, if you're not like, fat is tasty, right? And obviously it's worse for you, right? Like using oil to kind of a little bit of oil or whatever to slightly pan fry like a chicken breast is definitely worse for you than just kind of sticking it in the oven and cooking it that way, which again is equivalent to an air fryer, right? The air fryer is more efficient at doing that, but it's the same concept, right? An air fryer is like a smaller table, I was gonna say desktop, but table countertop oven, right? That's purpose built. I feel like it's just not gonna taste as good though. Like you don't get any of that kind of like I'm assuming you don't get any of that like kind of like Maillard browning that you get when you pan fry meat.
You weirdly do, but it's quite weird because it kind of so what you do is what I do at least, I put the chicken in and I'll give it like a little oil spray with that spray oil, right? And then I put it in for I do like 6 to 7 minutes to size at 180 degrees, but I've noticed that all air fryers are wildly different in their temperature readings, so you've got to kind of get used to whatever yours is. The first like 70% of the cooking doesn't give you that browning, which is completely counterintuitive to pan frying.
So are you cooking chicken breast here, right?
Chicken breast.
And you're cooking like it. I know you've shown me before. I assume you're not cooking full chicken breast. You're cooking like halved chicken breasts.
Like
the ones you showed me from Sainsbury's.
Sometimes full. Right. Okay. Sometimes half,
I was just contemplating your timings there. You said 6 or 7 minutes per side, right?
Per side, and, yes.
It takes me like less than 10 minutes to pan fry some chicken thigh, right? But I'm wondering like what the size of your chicken breast is, right? Like if you put a full chicken breast in there, I'm assuming it's gonna take a long time. Whereas if you like kind of butterfly a chicken breast, open it up, it's gonna take less time, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember because the chicken breasts I cook in the air fryer are relatively thin, but I have made thicker chicken breasts in there, and I'm trying to remember if I increased the time. I don't know if I did. I actually can't remember. Anyway, the last like 20% of the cooking, you get that like golden kind of
so it's different, man. So I don't have an air fryer. I don't have an air fryer.
You need to try it. You need to try it.
I'm not going to buy an air fryer to try it.
You need to try someone else's air fryer.
If I find somebody who has one, maybe. But like, if you cook chicken in the oven, you can get like some browning on the top, but it's not good browning, right? Like it's fine, but it's kind of almost a little dry. Like it's not. Whereas if you pan fry it with a little oil in there, like also the chicken fat kind of seeps out as well. Obviously, again, it's worse for you. 100% it's worse for you. I know the air frying cult is going to come for me because they're like, it's better for you. And I understand that. And it's maybe even, it may be faster, but who knows? But still Nick's, maybe.
The air frying crisp is better than oven. I'll say that.
That I won't disagree with. I will not disagree with. Sure. I think oven crisp is not good, right? But if you, that pan frying, like Maillard reaction, that heat, like that chicken against hot pan with oil that gets you that delicious, like, I don't want to say crust because it's not like, cooking a steak, but it's kind of a similar setup, right? I feel like that's going to be nowhere near the same.
Yeah, no, it is the same as like a steak, right? When you cook the like chicken in a pan, right? Yeah,
but like with the steak, you kind of go for like a full crust all around, right? Like you try
crusty crust.
You fully kind of flatten and crust the whole thing. Whereas like when I'm cooking a chicken thigh, I don't get like a full crust on one side. I get like a little bit of crust where the bits of chicken have most touched the pan, right? I feel like that is gonna. I feel like Nick, if we took 1,000 people, blindfolded them, and gave them 2 pieces of chicken thigh or whatever, and one of them had been air fried and one of them had been pan fried in like a little bit in the same oil, even, I think the people are gonna be like, yeah, the pan fried one is better.
They probably would, but the percentage, like the increase in taste percentage wise, I would say personally is lower than the increase in convenience right?
I don't think
Of
it's more
using air
convenient.
fryer.
What makes it more
I think it's more
convenient?
convenient.
If you've got
you
to see, I think it depends entirely on on how you cook, right? If so this is coming from a different perspective because I like cooking, right? I cook regularly, you know, and as somebody who works from home, I'm grateful for the fact that I have time to cook, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoy doing it. But for me, whenever I'm cooking something on the pan, like I'm doing something else, I'm preparing other parts of the dish whilst my meat is cooking, right? I'm not just stood watching the pan and kind of like shaking it every 30 seconds to make sure that it doesn't burn or whatever, right? Whereas I'm assuming in the situation you're describing, somebody walks in, they turn the air fryer on, then they leave and do something else for 7 minutes while they wait and then they go back and turn the chicken over and then do something else for another 7 minutes, right? Maybe they go vacuum or something, right? But like, I feel like from what you've said, the time is about the same. Again, it takes me less than 10 minutes. Because I'll set a timer for my pasta, right? If I have chicken pasta for lunch, I'll put the pasta on, get it to boiling, and then set a time for 10 minutes. And in the meantime, I can cook my chicken thigh, right? And it's done by the time my pasta is done, right? And so and then whilst that's being done, I can prepare veggies or I can get like a seasoning ready or whatever. And so I don't think it's actually going to save me any time. I feel like all it's going to do is I'm going to have to get this big clunky machine that I can't keep on my countertop because I haven't got enough space. I'm going to have to get it out of a cupboard, put it on the top, plug it in.
Okay.
And then it's like so much stuff to... I don't know how you clean it out, but like, you know what I mean?
We're
I'm sure
learning
it's easy enough to
more
clean,
here.
but...
We're learning more here. So my air fryer lives next to my microwave.
Yeah.
So if I had to get it out of countertop, I couldn't be bothered to do that.
Which is fine, but like I hate having so many countertop appliances, man. I've already got like a bread bin out there. I've got a coffee machine in the corner. I've got like a blender on the counter. There's too many appliances, man. You know, I've already got a stand mixer that I have to get out whenever I want to mix something like that. So, and I have an oven. It seems so necessary to buy the oven to put on the worktop, man. But so I don't think it's going to save me time.
The other convenient factor, so maybe not time. So I would say that it saves time against an oven, right? What it saves against pan frying is mess, right? Like oil splatter mess. That's okay. Where the convenience comes in for me. Because what I do, I think I've said this before, when I cook stuff in the air fryer, I actually line it with foil. Right. So I don't clean the basket. Like I don't. So
it's even more expensive, is what you're saying. How much are we spending on foil now, man?
I would like to calculate the foil versus oil, Isaac. Foil versus oil. Okay.
You said you're also putting oil on it. No?
But much less than if I was pan frying. When I pan fry stuff, I put in pretty healthy glug, right?
Okay.
Because if I'm gonna be pan frying something, I'm not gonna be skimping on oil.
I got a little lighter on the oil, just because like. Again, I'm cooking with chicken thigh. Chicken thigh is already a more fatty version of chicken, right? Like it has its own like fat that kind of renders out as you cook it. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I said, I've yet to be sold on the air fryer revolution. I have a feeling that like if you don't, I think it just depends on who you are, right? Like I think I'm sure they're good and I'm sure they get the job done. But I feel like if you enjoy cooking, I just don't think they're the way to go, right? I feel like they are. I don't know. I feel like they're just unnecessary, personally. Depending on what you cook, I guess. If I was on to cook like frozen chips regularly or something, like I'd be like, yeah, go for it, or whatever. Like, it's good in an air fryer, and I'm sure again the air fryer people will tell me everything's good in an air fryer. I make my porridge in my air fryer, but it's I've yet to be convinced, man.
Yeah, there are some things that people say an air fryer can do that I disagree with, such as baking. They're like, you can bake a cake in the air fryer. I don't think that's a very good idea, personally. It's a very intense heat on the surface of whatever you're cooking, so I think baking would be a bit of a disaster. But yes, no, you should find a way to try one at some point because they are very good. I will say that my first 2 weeks of owning one, it was mostly experimentation because I just immediately I was like, buy chicken, and I would cook it. For the duration of time that I usually would in an oven, right? And then I'd take the basket out and I'd see charcoal, right? Yeah. and then you got to kind of get your tuning right. But once you do, man, unreal items. But yeah, air fried frozen chips, I think they're pretty good. honestly, air fried frozen chips are one of the things where I'm like,
I could see using an air fryer for anything, like any kind of frozen food, right? A lot of frozen food.
Frozen food. They are very good for frozen food. I do fish fingers in them, and they cook quite nicely.
That I could understand. Like a lot of the time, it'll just say put it in the oven, and I can imagine you can put it in your air fryer. It'll get up to heat faster. It'll make them nice and crispy or whatever. I can understand that. But as somebody who doesn't eat much frozen food at all, like I just don't see the benefit, man.
He doesn't want it.
I just don't see the benefit, you know? I'm already cooking pasta and rice on the hob, and like I'm just, you know, It's like people again, I quite like cooking, but people harp on rice cookers as well. People are like, you should have a rice cooker. And I don't have a rice cooker, again, because I don't want to get another appliance out. And also, it's not that hard to cook rice in a pan, right? Like, do you have a rice cooker, Nick?
I've got a microwave rice cooker. So it's like a red thing, and you put your rice in, you put your water in, you put it in the microwave for 15 minutes, and it comes out with actually very impressively done rice.
Right.
And so it's extremely useful.
You put something in the microwave, or the thing is like a little microwave in and of itself? Sorry.
I can show you. I can show you. Let me go and get it.
I'm ready.
This is the microwave rice cooker. As you can see, it's been through the microwave. This thing has probably been through the microwave.
So it's a thing that you put your rice into and then you put it in the microwave.
That is correct. So
I see. Okay.
It's got like this little. Let me get this in shot for you. So it's got this like little kind of lid. So you just take the lid off, and then it's got like a kind of second strainer thing. So this is, you know, the water rises, condenses, goes back in, all that stuff. Kind of steams the rice that goes along. And then it's literally just a container. You put your rice in. I use basmati rice, and then I put in usually 3 to 1.
Interesting. So I do 2 to 1 in a pan, right? I'll do 2 water to 1 rice.
It differs. It does differ depending on method, I find. Wildly sometimes.
For those listening, Nick is holding up a plastic tub that kind of looks like one of those hazardous waste tubs they give people for sharps.
Does, doesn't it?
You know,
it's like especially it looks like the nuclear symbol as well, right? No, these are very good because you put your rice and you put your water in, you microwave 15 minutes, you get on with whatever else you cook in, and then it's done.
Okay, but at the same time, Nick, I'm gonna have the same thing here. The way I cook rice, I put 2 parts water to 1 part rice into a pan. I bring it to a simmer. I put a lid on. I turn the heat right down. I leave it for 15 minutes, and then turn the heat off, and then the rice is done. Right. Sometimes you'll leave it for a few more minutes after while you're doing other stuff, but like, it's not a difficult process is the thing, right? It's a pretty straightforward, you know, just like, and I just don't understand. I feel like a lot of the time there's just like these products for the sake of being products. And I feel like the same thing with, like, I'm sure rice cookers do make great rice, right? And I'm sure that a lot of time people make bad rice, right? And then like other people are like, hey, you should just buy a rice cooker, right? That I completely understand. And I will not even argue that I'm almost certain that a rice cooker would make better rice than I can make. I don't think my rice is like the best rice. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's just another appliance, another device, another little trinket or doodad, like this, thing that you've just showed me. It's just like another thing I'd have to find space for in my kitchen. I gotta put it somewhere when I assume you already have like a pan that could make rice, right?
I mean, this thing is just the same but different. I already had pans. I got this at university.
The reason it's not the same is because it's single use, right? You can't also use it to like make pasta, right? Or fry an egg, or cook it like scrambled eggs, right? Whereas like a pan obviously takes up a similar amount of space to what your device takes up there, but the pan is multi-purpose, right? Whereas the little device there you've got is not. And it's the same with like if I have a frying pan, I can cook everything that I might cook in an air fryer and more. Whereas if I just have an air fryer, it's like an extra thing that takes up space along with my frying pan, because I need both. And I just don't, I don't see the need.
It really does depend on use case, right?
Right.
Like, I got this rice cooker at university when all 4 hobs were always in use, and I did not have the luxury of using multiple hobs. I'm
sure the device is good, right? And I think it's crazy. It's good that you can make rice without the need for a hob as well, right? That's very good, right? Because I'm assuming like not everyone also has access to a hob, right? If you just have access to a microwave, the fact that you can make rice in a microwave is substantially better, right? But like at this point in time, I wouldn't see myself purchasing a device like that,
No, that's fair enough. I think that's fair enough.
There's just so many, and there's so many other devices, man. Like, I want to get people. You look at recipes, and like, I don't have a slow cooker or a pressure cooker or like a bread maker or an air fryer, and there's just like so many things. There's like this ever-growing list of kitchen appliances that I need like a mansion. I need like a 6,000 square feet kitchen I need like an industrial kitchen, to get all this stuff in,
I do have a slow cooker. Slow cooker is fantastic. It is fantastic. I use it. I probably use it once a week.
Yeah.
I don't usually make rice in it. I know that you can. It just have a rice mode. It effectively acts like a rice cooker. It's my mum has the exact same one I have. She makes loads of soups in it.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of stuff, right?
This again, I've been in the same boat where like, I always want. I think about it. I'm like, I should get a pressure cooker, or I should get a slow cooker. Especially cooking like trying to cook like slow cooked pork or something. Or like certain cuts of beef. You want to do like a nice low and slow kind of pressure cook.
Yes.
And like. But I've done it in the oven, and it's pretty good. Like I've slow cooked pork in my oven and made like a nice slow like barbecue pork from like a shoulder and stuff, and it's great. It tastes good, and so I can't justify spending a few £100 on another device that again has to go somewhere, and that I've got to then dig out. I
mean, that's fair enough. I will say this was £8 from what I remember, so I would say that it was probably cheaper than most pans, right?
Oh, for
Excellent.
Sure. My point that it's not that it's cheaper than a pan. My point is that you still also have to buy a pan.
The
right.
Other thing is the slow cooker was like 80. I've got like a little instant pot, right? They're quite good. I think that was like 80 quid, something like that. The pan, the addition to a pan thing I get. I don't know. Maybe I've just got loads of cupboard space, but I've had no trouble fitting all of these items in my little kitchen living room space. But then I live on my own. So I mean,
maybe I've got too much stuff, too many food items, man.
Yeah, maybe. And you have like you have like stuff that I don't have, right? Like you've got the stand mixer, but I don't have a stand mixer.
Yeah.
And then there's probably other stuff that
I think the space in my kitchen is somewhat inefficiently used as well.
Right.
I've got one of those massive like American style double fridges in a relatively small kitchen. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Which is I like because I like a lot of fridge space, but at the same time it's like the kitchen is not big enough to warrant such a big fridge. And
right.
And the same's true. And then the same's true with the oven. I've got like an oven that's very wide and has 5 rings on top, so it's not like a standard 4-ring oven. It's like a wider kind of range cooker.
But
again,
right.
It's just it's too big for the kitchen space that exists. You know what I mean? And so I think I am a little more limited on cupboard space, and so I'm a lot more cautious about buying additional items. But I also just already have a lot of kitchen gadgets, right? I've already got like a food processor alongside of a blender, alongside you've got a toaster hanging around somewhere. I've already got an espresso machine on the countertop, and there's just as you add, and then there's like also you got a really big pan to make big batches of soup, and then you need frying pans and sauce pans, and there's a microwave, of course. There's just too many devices.
I see. Yeah, I don't have an espresso machine, and I don't have.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
Quite a lot of the other stuff that you mentioned. Yeah, I guess you've got like a proper, espresso machine, like the.
Oh yeah. It's got like an inbuilt steamer and big old water tank at the back, and so the grinder is built into the thing, and yeah.
No, that's interesting. It's interesting.
So we're not really arguing about the value of separate devices. I kind of am arguing about the value of separate devices, though. Like obviously, from my specific standpoint, I don't have as much space, and therefore I don't want to buy too much stuff. But at the same time, I also don't think that some of the devices are necessarily necessary, right? Even if I had more space, I don't think I would purchase a rice cooker, right? Just because I think I can make rice just fine on the hob. So I don't think a rice cooker would be my space addition. Same with an air fryer. I don't think I'd buy an air fryer if I had more space. I would buy like a slow cooker if I had more space. I'd also maybe buy like a bread maker if I had more space because they look pretty cool. But I just don't think, for me, I think air fryers are maybe a bit overhyped, which is a bold thing to say having never tried one.
Disagree. Haven't got one. Disagree.
And I think that the rice cookers are a little bit overhyped, less so than air fryers, because I think most people can't make good rice. You don't need a rice cooker, but I'm more sympathetic to the owners of rice cookers than I am to the owners of air fryers.
Controversial.
Not that air fryers are bad. I don't think air fryers are bad. I'm sure your air fryer was great and does everything you want it to do and even cooks you breakfast in the morning. But I just think you probably don't need it, right?
So I cooked my breakfast in the air fryer this morning. So I made breakfast beef burgers last night that I kind of meal prep for the day, right? And I then cooked up a little fries egg.
In your air fryer?
No, I made that in like a perfect fried egg pan that's like this big that you crack a fried egg in. It's the cutest thing in the world. Right. Like an idiot, today I finished cooking the fried egg. Mm-hmm. I decanted the fried egg onto my little kind of bagel patty that I was putting it on. Bagel patty, my bagel that I was putting it on.
Bagel patty, yeah, I like it.
And then I proceeded to put the pan onto a different hob. That was cool, right? I then took my air fryer basket out of the air fryer, and then I looked down, and because the bottom of the basket was hot, I was like, what I usually do, probably incorrectly, is I put it onto. I've got like a electric hob, right? So it's just one big glass square. Right. But obviously that glass square is very heat resistant. So I proceeded to put I always proceed to put my air fryer basket onto the hob area, but I will just avoid putting it on any hobs that are hot. My brain clearly wasn't switched on enough this morning because I looked down, I saw the egg pan, my little egg pan on a cool hob, mistook it for a hot hob, and then proceeded to put my air fryer basket on the hot hob. Thus, Isaac, I'm sending you a photo giving me this situation where I kind of looked down and noticed that my air fryer basket had melted itself into my hob. And I looked at that and I was like, oh, no. And then I like picked it up. The plastic was had gooped. Right? Gooped, like it kind of like was stringy when I lifted it up. And I was like, oh no. So in a panic, I had to take while this was still hot, I took a bread knife and I had to like scrape this melty plastic off and then try and like scrape it as much as possible. Yeah, cancer fumes. It stank. It stank and I got a bit of a headache afterwards, so that can't have been good. So yeah, I actually did manage to scrape the hob successfully. I couldn't believe it. The air fryer basket is now no longer going all the way back into the air fryer, unfortunately. So I think there's some like sanding work I have to do basically to get that to work again. So yeah, if you're an air fryer, don't put it on a hot hob.
Don't melt it.
Don't melt it. Yeah. The funny thing is that that's not the first time I've done this.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. No, I think it was. My brain has just not been working over the last few days. So yeah, that's fun. But that was the morning I had. But no, that was quite funny. Warranty replacement. My air fryer is like 2 years old, and I think they wouldn't replace it under warranty if I had melted it onto my arm. I think if it melted itself, it probably would. No, it's all good. I think I can salvage it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was this morning, and this is the microwave rice cooker. If you're at university, honestly, these things fantastic. Would recommend. Real quick, Isaac, before as we're coming to a close to this podcast episode, only Isaac will know this, but I've had the topic AI like written in our docket for like the last 5 weeks, and funnily enough, the what I was referring to in that topic has kind of made headlines recently. So I've linked a link into our little list here, Isaac. You might have heard of this. People in the chat might have heard of this. But have you heard, Isaac, of the humane AI pin?
I have not heard of this, no.
Okay,
my finger is not on the pulse of AI as much as yours is, Nick.
Honestly, your mental health is all the better for it.
I just see the vague headlines that the normies get, like 3 months after things are interesting, right? So
yeah. So see, I used to be / semi still am in that field as a career, and honestly, it melts your brain, Isaac, into a hot goop. So basically, 5 weeks ago, there's this article that came out about this little weird wearable device.
Oh, I have heard about this.
You have. Okay,
yeah. So vaguely, but go on. Please continue.
So, this thing got announced. It's called the Humane AI Pin, and all it is it's.
It looks like someone has strapped like a very small Samsung Z Flip to the front of their chest. Is what
it's
it looks
a very
like to
good
me.
way to describe it. Actually, that is what it looks like. That is what it looks like in its folded form, right?
Yeah,
in its square folded form. So
yes, a folded Z Flip,
came out.
but smaller, attached to your chest is what it looks like. Yes,
that's the one. So this thing came out, and it was announced at a fashion show, which was immediately a bit of a red flag a few weeks ago.
It's one of the best techs announced, man.
Exactly. And they just said, ex-Apple engineer starts company and releases AI pin, AI wearable full of AI. These are paraphrasing, but this is effectively what happened. With no real, context or info.
Yes. This is what I'd heard about it. Is that it was kind of very vague. Yes.
Very vague, very vague. And then that's when I first put it in our docket. But it's almost good that it's been deferred to now, because then they officially announced this thing last week, right?
Right.
Honestly, you have to watch the first few seconds of this product announcement. Is painful the word? Probably. Right? So I'll link you to this, and this link that I'm about to send contains a Vimeo video embedded, of course. Otherwise, I'll just send you the YouTube link of the beginning of this this announcement. Yes, and it's of ex-Apple engineer in question, and another co-founder, someone like that, coming in and announcing this this AI pin, right? And they're basically on about how it's going to completely revolutionize the way we use technology, because they're basically saying that this is a replacement for your phone, right? So that you don't have to use your phone. But what it is it's a square device that you wear effectively on your chest that's got a camera and a quite cheap looking laser projector.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like a chat GPT thing, right? So you walk around and it's constantly kind of monitoring what you do, and you just kind of tell it things. And to interface with it, you stick your hand out, right? Like you're like Iron Man, and it then projects a small little screen onto your hand with some very basic interface options, right? Like if you want to read a text, it will show you the text.
Yeah.
This has caused a complete storm of hype on social media, right? Especially boomer LinkedIn social media, which I tend to see a lot. That's basically on about how this thing is the next big thing, right? It's the future. Mm-hmm. It's the future. Yeah. It's the future. But from what I gather, it is basically, you remember the iPod Shuffle?
Yep.
So this was the screenless iPod, right?
Yep.
And you could change songs on it by pushing a button, and it was you could only play them in order or random or something. I feel like this is the successor to that, but it's trying to be a phone replacement.
Oh, yeah.
Thoughts?
I mean, I don't. I watched the first 10 seconds or 20 seconds of this video. They seem very uninterested in the product that they're trying to show off.
Yes.
This man, I'm sure is good at his job, but seems very uninterested in the product that he's describing. I don't think it's going to take off, man. I don't think it's going to take off.
Nice.
I think the sound of what you're describing sounds like just a worse phone, right? Like, you have to hold your hand out for it to project onto your hand. With the same action, if my hands are out by my side, the act of taking the phone out of my pocket and bringing it up gives me the same, like, I don't know, it just seems like it's the same, but just like I assume that the resolution on the screen is going to be higher than the projected by the little device. I assume it's going to be easier to navigate with my phone as opposed to with the little tap gestures that it looks like they're doing, like those kind of Apple style, you know, little finger to thumb taps to navigate. I don't see it, man. I don't see it being the way. Do you know what I mean? It feels like someone could just integrate something more GPT like into like either iOS or Android, and it would have so much more functionality that would then be easier.
Right.
You know?
Right. To me, it was a worse or the modern version of Google Glass. Right. That's what it reminded me of, especially with the way that interface looks in your hand. No, I agree. I think it's pretty bad. The red flags to me really come from the fact that when they introduce this device, they tell you what colors it comes in rather than what it actually does. And the throwing and pasting of this, it's by an ex-Apple engineer, branding and marketing of this, right? I would want you to show me what this thing can do, right? Like literally start by showing me what this can do.
It sounds like the announcement. They've announced it kind of like a new iPhone, where they start, like where everyone already knows what it does, and they're just announcing new colors and stuff, right? Which is obviously not the case.
Exactly.
I linked something similar in the Discord in the doc a little while ago. Have you seen these X-Real glasses? They have like
I haven't. I did see that you put that in.
Yeah, so
let's have a look.
These are interesting. They've just released their X-Real 2s, I think. So like it's been a product for a little while.
Oh, I have heard of these. They've got pretty impressive displays in the lenses, right?
Yeah. So this one's interesting because these are like quote unquote sunglasses. They look a little dorky, but they are sunglasses. But the awkward thing about them is that you have to plug them in. So there's a wire that goes from the sunglasses down, and you plug it like into your phone or your Steam Deck or whatever it is that you want to kind of see in your in these glasses, right? But the idea is that you can basically like plug in you put the glasses on, they look kind of like normal glasses. And it just gives you a bigger screen to do stuff. And like the stuff that I saw recommended was like, if you're on like a plane, trying to watch, I assume you try to watch like Netflix on a phone on a plane, and it's a pain, right?
Yeah.
Like your head, you're looking down with your head, your neck gets sore, or you got to hold the phone up to like your eye line, and holding the phone dead in front of your hours is a pain. So the idea with these is you kind of have the wire that goes like down the back of your neck or down your shirt, whatever, plugs into your iPhone or your whatever phone, and then it just shows you a screen on the glasses, right? And you just like have a bigger version of the screen that you have, right? And they show other use cases, like you can do the same thing where if you have like kind of like what Apple have shown recently with their headset, where you can kind of connect like a Bluetooth keyboard and mouse, and you can see your phone screen or whatever projected, or your laptop screen projected bigger, and then use like the keyboard and mouse whilst looking dead ahead at the bigger screen. And I think this is a more interesting concept, man, because I was thinking about it as well, and I feel like if something like that took off, I feel like you'd see the end of laptops real fast, man. Because I think these days, most new smartphones are probably more powerful than most people need a laptop to be, right? In terms of like writing emails, word processing, and that's kind of browsing the web, right? I feel like most people don't need super powerful laptops. Obviously, there's a set of customers who do, right? But I think a lot of people probably have the power they need in their phone. It's just difficult to use it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's quite interesting, isn't it? I saw a review for these about a year ago, so this is coming back to me now. The reason I was thrown off is because they used to be called N-Real, but have changed to X-Real.
Yeah.
But I do remember when I saw reviews of the N-Real, and I did think they were very cool because it was effectively like putting a big screen on your head for planes. That was what I thought. So very good for content consumption. I think the price. How much are these things? About 380 quid.
So there's two versions, I think. $400 for the Air 2 and then $450 for the Air Pros. So, probably like $350 and £400 basically, I would assume. But could be different.
Yeah,
and
no.
The Pros, I think the new, on the Pros now, they've got like this new, from what I saw on the review of it, they've got like something on the glass where they, like a liquid crystal something, where they send a current and it blacks out the front of the glass. So you get like because by default, the way it works is it doesn't black out your vision. You get like a semi-transparent view of your phone screen. So you can still see the world around you, right? Whereas this new one, they've got like a button or something on them where you can press it and it kind of, you still see your screen, but then it's pitch black behind it. So it makes it a lot better for watching like movies on a plane, for example, right? Where you want to be able to just watch the movie. You don't care about being able to see the world around you, right? So I think that's the only difference between the two models. So it's expensive, but yeah, like I feel like it could be easier in some scenarios, you know? If I was just somebody who had to send emails and do Word documents, having like a Bluetooth mouse and keyboard at my desk that just connects to my phone, you know, and then I can take my phone with me and I don't have to like move files between laptops and stuff. You know, obviously that's easy enough to do on like most of the time these days. But I don't know. I feel like in a world where you can use your phone as a laptop, I feel like most people wouldn't need laptops, man. I feel like standalone laptops might not be super necessary. What do you think?
It's interesting. This reminds me a lot of Meta's, when the Meta Quest Pro came out. One of their demos was put it on and then it turns your laptop screen it passes through your laptop screen and then adds two virtual screens on either side, right?
I mean, Apple just did the same thing, right? Apple just showed off their new Vision Pro, and they've got the exact same thing where they show 3 monitors and your laptop down in front of you, and they just, yeah. I think the only problem with those is that they're just so big, right?
Yes. No, they are massive. So this is interesting. It is interesting. In terms of like the email and all of that stuff, is the question you need to ask is it going to be more hassle to take the Bluetooth mouse and keyboard with you if you're going to be doing lots of kind of keyboard-based things, as opposed to just taking a laptop, right? And then I think another main thing is battery life considerations, like if you need to plug this into your phone or if you need to plug it into a power source, how's that going to work? I think if that can be, if a very good user experience can be created around this, right? So good battery life, some kind of...
Well, my thought process is that like phones already have pretty good battery life, right? Like, I saw a video the other day of like the I think it's a Mr. Who's the Boss video. You know, he does his phone battery reviews, and like the iPhone 15 Plus, like the non-Pro Plus, has like the best battery life of like any iPhone ever.
Yes.
And it's got like a crazy battery life. It lasts ages, right? It goes on forever and ever and ever. And I feel like for the most part that'd be fine, because also like when you're doing this, your phone screen I don't believe needs to be on, right? So you use less phone battery during this scenario as well. So yeah, I don't know. I won't be getting one because I already don't use a laptop, right? Like a desktop. And you know, but
yeah. I also won't be getting one. I think I want to say that I used to know someone at work who used to actually have one of these. And I think they are really good for content consumption, especially if you don't want people around you to see what you're doing.
Yep.
Whether that be sensitive work or, you know, sensitive play, whatever that is.
But like also, something like with like a Steam Deck, right? Even just being able to hold the Steam Deck in your lap and then, like, look straight ahead while you're playing instead of having to either, again, hold the Steam Deck up or kind of tilt your head down to look at it, right? I feel like it might just be a bit more ergonomic if you can't connect to like a TV or anything. I don't know. I don't know if this company in particular is going to take off, right? I'm more interested in the idea. But I'd be intrigued to see, 20 years from now, if there are as many physical screens, like monitors, as there are currently. Because it feels like we're moving away from the need to have stationary monitors in place everywhere we go, right? I feel like it would make a lot more sense to not have, physical displays everywhere if people just had their own, because people obviously do carry around the display, they carry around their phone, right? But if people just have their own kind of displays that with them, right? And then you could just have like a workspace that just has like mice and keyboards or whatever. I don't know. It seems like it could be interesting, especially because like displays. I feel like display tech gets real old real fast. That might not be the case soon. I feel like now you still go to a lot of places, you see a lot of 1080p monitors, and they're just try going from like a 4K monitor to a 1080p monitor is horrendous. And so, it feels like you're going back into the dark ages when you go anywhere that has them, which is most places. But then again, on the flip side, I don't see like 8K monitors taking off. You know what I mean? In any meaningful way. Like in the same way I don't see really 8K TVs taking off, right? I feel like we've kind of plateaued a little bit on the resolution front. And so, give it 20 years, I feel like every monitor is going to be a 4K monitor. Every TV is going to be a 4K TV. It already is, basically, for TVs.
Yes.
And so, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, like the 8K, that is very hard to drive. You're obviously quite hard to shoot, quite hard to create content for it.
I think the main thing is that it just doesn't look much different, right?
Yeah, and that as well.
I think that's the biggest thing. The biggest thing is that, like, most people are probably fine with 1080p on their TVs, even though, because most of the stuff they watch is still 1080p, right? Like if they're streaming from most services and stuff, they're not getting 4K a lot of the time. I think most people are happy with 1080p. The majority of people, even if they have a 4K TV. The enthusiasts who like 4K, I think there's a very small set of people who would be like, yeah, I can tell the difference. I can see the 8K image, and they probably can. Right? I'm not discrediting that if they were like pixel peeping for it. But I don't see it, man. I don't see 8K TVs taking off, at least it not being the selling point, right? Like, we might transition to 8K just because it's, like, cheap enough to do so, but I don't think, like, in a showroom, I don't think you're gonna be able to show people effectively, like, unless you're really aggressively showing them, like, low bitrate 4K and then, like, high bitrate 8K just to throw the test off. But, like, I feel like it's gonna be difficult to sell people on 8K as a selling point, right? Which I think is why you see a lot more these days, people talking about, like, OLED, contrast, variable refresh rates, high refresh rates. Like, there's a lot of all the peripheral stuff around resolution has kind of become the focal point of gaming monitors, of TVs, of all that kind of stuff, right? And yeah, I don't see that going up. The way that links back is that my point was going to be that over the last like 10, 20 years, monitors I feel like have moved real fast, right? In the 20 years ago, 20 years ago, I was in school and we had the giant white monitors, right? The giant white brick boxes. And then everyone gets 1080p monitors, and like, it feels like monitors have moved very quickly, and obviously most places like libraries or computer labs or whatever have not always upgraded fast enough, right? Like when I was at college, we were still using like 1337p monitors. They were these square monitors. They weren't 16:9. They weren't 1080p. Do you know what I mean? They were just old monitors that you're using for Word documents or whatever. And that kind of stuff doesn't move fast. In that world where monitor tech moves too quick for places like that to handle, I could see something like this where you can kind of quote unquote bring your own monitor being very useful. But my counter argument to that was going to be that I feel like monitors and TVs are stagnating now. I feel like we're not going to see the next 20 years be as aggressive unless the kind of battle moves to this face realm, right? Where we kind of give up on standard monitors and the competition moves to how good of a display can you put inside of glasses or
glasses, yeah.
An interesting aspect there is the environmental one, because manufacturing these little glasses uses significantly less materials and will use significantly less power than having a big display, right?
Sure.
So I wonder how much that will actually play into it, aspect-wise.
Because I actually don't know how true that is. Like, it obviously uses less like physical material, but like I'd be interested in like the CO2 footprint of producing like a pair of VR like 4K lenses versus like a 4K TV.
I think it would get, even if it doesn't get saved in manufacturing, it would definitely get saved in logistics, right?
Oh, for sure, like transport.
Yeah. So if you take into account the whole thing, I could imagine that being a big factor, right? Like, oh, this is much better for the environment. The only situation where it's not as useful is common sharing areas, right? Like, so like, the TV in the living room, everyone sits down and watches TV together, right? It would be a bit weird if everyone had their own glasses on, although some people think that might be the future. College, for example, if you've got a display in front of you and you can go get the supervisor to come over and have a look at your work, again, maybe they'd have glasses on that they could see a mirror of every single person in the room.
That was already the case. That was already the case when I was in school, in that we had our monitors, but like they already had software on, so that the person teaching could see everybody's monitor from their monitor, right? Like on their screen, they could just click on anybody's monitor and see what they were working on or doing, right? So
yes.
That kind of tech is not out of this world, right? Yeah,
it's interesting. It will be interesting to see how that goes for sure.
Of all the stuff, of all the the AI and the future tech and the VR, I feel like some kind of it's kind of the oldest idea that some kind of glasses being smart. I feel like that's the one that is most likely to take off, right?
Because they don't look crazy and stupid, right? They're quite portable. Like these extra airs, it's quite a small package, right? You could realistically chuck that in your backpack, and it probably won't take up much more space than your laptop charger, right?
Yeah.
But it is very interesting. I do like these. I do like these as a concept for sure.
Yeah.
I wonder how
I don't know if
good
you see
they
the
are.
image. I don't know if you see the images of people watching that wearing them. I think they still do look a little silly. Like they sit a little too far away from the head by the looks of it
I see
to look
that.
like normal sunglasses. You know, they look a little goofy. But like I would wear these on a plane, right? Like I wouldn't think
For
twice
sure.
about wearing them on a plane. But yeah,
You know what would be really interesting, man?
What's that?
If like Nintendo's portable console in 10 years is like this, right?
Yeah.
And then that creates mass adoption, right? Like a big player releases a product like this, and it gets a lot of people trying it, and then it gets a lot of people liking it. Now, I just say Nintendo because they're the ones who have tried the new things the most in the portable gaming space.
I don't know, man. I think these days it might be Sony. You know, like they've got their VR stuff, and I think tomorrow is when that new portable Sony device that we talked about before comes out. The Portal.
Does it come out tomorrow?
But anyway, Sony obviously already got their VR stuff, right? And then like obviously Apple is also pushing their VR/AR stuff, and obviously Meta's already in the VR AR space, right? And the Meta Quest 3 looks great and all. I don't know. I don't think it'd be Nintendo that pushes it. I think if anything, as annoying as it sounds, like people always like, oh, wait till Apple does it. But I think it might be, right? I think it might be the case that when Apple does it, like it might get popular. Obviously, I don't think that's gonna be the case with the Vision Pro. But if they release like a non-Pro Vision, you know, like a year or two from now, that's very similar but just a lot cheaper and more comfortable, and they're gonna make it maybe lighter. I can maybe see it, you know, man, taking off. I don't know if gaming is necessary. Obviously, gaming has been the. It's weird. I was gonna say gaming's not the. I don't think it's gonna be the driver of it. Gaming has already been the driver of it, right? In terms of VR and AR, gaming is like the only thing popping VR up really at this point, and has been for like a decade, right? People are like, "What's the point in buying a VR headset? It's to play VR games, right? You can do this other stuff, but like the key selling point is VR games." And so, I think it's gonna be the same for Apple, but I just think with Apple, because so many people have iPhones. I don't know if you saw recently they showed like people playing Resident Evil Village or something on the iPhone, which is crazy, right? It doesn't run super well, by the way. It runs at like close to 30 FPS if you dial things back.
Yeah.
But like the fact that you can do that and there's no fan in the iPhone, right? Like the fact that works at all is impressive. And so I assume, obviously, the Vision Pro connects to your iPhone, and if they release like a consumer version, something that's, I was gonna say under $1,000, you know, $999 could work, and it gets adopted, you know, then you got the huge iPhone base. I think that would be a thing that could kind of kickstart something big at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they release something like that.
I think there's no way they don't. The fact that they've called it Vision Pro, like, do Apple have any
at some point?
Do they have any product that's a Pro version they don't have a non-Pro version of? I feel like they have non-Pro versions of every Pro product they have, right?
No, they don't. Not that I can think of anyway.
You could maybe argue like the Mac Pro, like the cheese grater machine, maybe, but even Apple seems to have kind of abandoned that machine entirely at this point. And obviously they do have the Mac Mini.
They've got the Studio as well, right? And the Mini, which are the kind of the two ones under that.
Yeah, and even the one that's just a screen with the
iMac.
iMac, that's the one.
Yeah. But it'll be very interesting to see like what happens with that if they release it. It'll be interesting to see how many devs get on this Vision Pro stuff, right? How many people make apps for it? How many early adopters buy it? What kinds of tech demos are created from it? Because I feel like that's the kind of the point of this first gen Vision Pro as well, right? Is to kind of introduce it and see what people do with it, and then after a few years they release the mass market one, and then people have already made a start on developing apps for it that have been proven, and then more people try it. I think the 2010 iPad. No one really got the 2010 iPads, but then when the iPad 2 came out, more people bought it, and it became more of a mass adopted thing. But when the iPad 2 came out, because the iPad 1 had been released, there was iPad apps already, and people could get straight into it and stuff. It'll be interesting to see that kind of equivalence.
I think the biggest thing, I think, really. Because, like, I think virtual reality is already good enough, right, for mass adoption, right? And I think, companies like Meta have already got a better price point down, right? Like, the Quest 3 is like £500. It's more expensive than the Quest 2. The Quest 2 is even already quite good, from what I've heard, and is like, 300 and some pounds now, I think. So I don't think the VR getting good is the problem. I think for it to take off, there needs to be a reason for the AR aspect of it to be good, and then it needs to be the case that people actually are comfortable wearing them out and about, right? And I think that's when you'll see like an explosion. If you see a lot of people out wearing AR headsets, and like, I think, and it becomes like the norm that people are like, oh yeah, no, this is the future. I think at that point you'll see like a huge explosion in like people buying them to match everybody else, right? And the same with like phones, right? There's a point at which like phones are good, but are mostly for like business people, right? But then there's this shift to where everyone starts getting phones, and then like, high school kids have phones, their friends get the same phones, and it kind of spirals from there. I think if Apple just releases like a good VR headset that's like good for games at home, I don't think that's going to take off like crazy, right? I think for it to take off like crazy, it needs to kind of do the thing that nothing's been yet able to do, and that's kind of bridge that gap of people wearing them in public, which is going to be a nightmare for like privacy, right? But I do think that's probably the most likely direction that it goes in, right? And more companies like Meta and Apple are going with this AR more so than VR system, right? Where the headset kind of augments your reality as opposed to completely replacing it,
Yes. The whole mixed reality experience, right? When you get both, it will be interesting. It will be very interesting, and that's again why I think that releasing this first product next year and then seeing what devs do with it to create that, that real pull in for the mass market. What will the TikTok of the mixed reality world be, right? That gets everyone to buy it. That's what I think the next couple of years are for. And all these dev kits that are going out and stuff. So it will be very interesting. It will be very interesting.
I can see a future though where like, you have obviously not like a VR headset on your head. Like I don't think everyone's gonna walk around wearing VR headsets, but like wearing some kind of augmented vision equipment that allows you to like translate things in real time or get like information about certain stuff, or you look at a restaurant and it tells you the opening times, like floating in the corner of your eyes. It lets you know when they're open, or you can see their menu or something. You know what I mean? Like I think just little things.
Yeah, well, supposedly that's what that pin is for, right? So you could do it's meant so you could do that, but then you stick your hand out and it tells you there. So it'll be interesting to see if glasses take over what that's trying to do.
Yeah. I think so, just because like the pin thing for me just seems like, I don't know, it seems like the fact that you've got to kind of like look down at your hand already, I feel like at that point, just get your phone out.
Yes. I mean, I agree with that.
I don't think there's enough of a barrier between getting your phone out and not getting your phone out, right? Whereas if it's the case that you just have the glasses on, you look at the restaurant and in the top left of your vision, it just shows you some information about it, like automatically. You don't even have to like actively think to change it. Then at that point, I could see, things being more interesting. And then you take it super Black Mirror, and there's like you look at a restaurant and a giant banner ad fills your vision. It's like, whoa, come join us today. They paid Apple. It says sponsored in tiny text in the top right hand corner. Anyway.
Pain. So much pain.
Nick, unfortunately, we're out of time for this episode of the What Have You Been Up To podcast. Thank you for listening, everybody. If you haven't done so already, you can subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcasting platform of choice. We're available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, etc. We're available everywhere in the world. We're also on YouTube in video form if you're interested in looking at our faces while we talk at you for an hour. And you can also rate the podcast as well. You can thumbs up on YouTube, you can subscribe on YouTube, and you can give us like a star rating on the podcasting apps. It would be very much appreciated if you did that. And for those who don't know, we also have a Discord. Discord is discord.whybut.co is the link. It'll be in the show notes and also in the description down below. For now, though, thank you for listening, and we will talk at you next time.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.